Hi, this is Robert Clickybeard and David Anderson with the Commercial Landscaper Podcast. We're going to take 20 minutes of your life to deliver some amazing business content from accomplished leaders to bring you value, to scale your business, and to better yourself personally. And really hopefully you enjoyed. Cheers, everyone. Hi, this is Robert Clickybeard with the Commercial Landscaper Podcast. I'm super excited today to be joined by Kelly Dowell. Kelly, thanks for joining me today. I'm really excited you're here.
Yeah, I'm excited to be here. Thanks.
So tell me a little bit about you, your background, so my audience get to know you a little bit better.
Yeah, absolutely. So I grew up in the green industry, from plowing snow with my dad to stuffing envelopes for mailers with my mom. They owned a landscaping company out of St. Louis, Missouri. They focus on primarily residential landscape maintenance work. And so I kind of traversed all of the positions available at that company as I went through growing up in my life. I did administrative work, answering phones. I did some account management. And then from there, I was able to hire account managers and become more of a sales manager type role. I have a degree in business with an emphasis in marketing. So I naturally go towards the sales and marketing side of things. And so as a business kind of developer, I was working on a lot of marketing tools for the business and things like that. 1 year in 2015, I believe, we were primarily 80 to 90% H-2B employees at that company. And in that year, we did not get our guys. So we didn't, it was a couple of weeks before lawn mowing season, and we were told hey, you're not going to have any seasonal employees.
That's
tough. So for me, that changed my role significantly from doing a lot of sales and business development. We didn't need anymore. We needed people. So I kind of morphed into a recruiting and hiring role and learned about that part of the business as well. And then in 2017, I resigned from there and started my own business doing sales, marketing, and kind of process development for green industry professionals. And that's what I do now.
Cool. That's awesome. I know that you crossed paths with one of the colleagues on my team, Steve Steele, at I think it was a recent conference to do with snow management.
It was at Green and Growing in North Carolina. And I think he's got in on either a recruiting or a social media. I think it was social media, actually. Presentation.
Well, Steve was very impressed and recommended I reach out to you, and obviously I did that. But one of the things I hear when I go into a lot of companies is they're dealing with social media. They're trying to figure out how to do marketing. They either have their own team that does it and struggle through it, or they outsource it. Some pay a little bit of money, some pay a ton of money. What sort of advice would you give landscape companies trying to be able to managing marketing, social media, in-house versus outsourcing it? Tell me a little bit more about that.
Yeah, I think it depends. So a lot of the clients that I work with are somewhere between the $1 million to $5 or $6 million range. And that's a pretty big spread. Anything kind of under that is a lot of in-house work and just kind of making it work when you have the time. But after that, it's kind of nice to have somebody who's specialized, whether they know the industry or whether they really know social media or they're really good at content marketing or website development. Having that specialization or expertise in a specific area is always good to kind of reach out to people like that. If you don't have that in-house. I'm a big fan of outsourcing the things that I don't know how to do well. So if I'm really, really good at gardening and landscape design and creating masterpieces of outdoor work, probably not the best at looking at analytics or, how is my social media ads performing? So I think, that's kind of some of the things to consider when you're choosing to outsource it or to do it in-house. And also, who has the time? It is, like you said, it's very time consuming to manage even just one social media platform.
Yeah, for sure. And, I think when you talk about data and analytics, really easy to overwhelm owners of the business. I just give them all this statistics, all this data to almost indicate that, you're justifying value, you're justifying your role in the company. What are some of the key things that companies should be looking at? What are the important things when they're analyzing maybe the outsourcing company they're working with to make sure they are getting value?
Yeah. So there's a lot of, if we're talking social media, there's a lot of metrics that I would describe as like vanity metrics. Number of followers, for example, is something that isn't a very clear way of showing if your social media marketing plan is successful or not. Followers, you can buy followers, so you can have 1 million followers, but they're all in Japan, and that's not doing anything for your business, right?
Right, yep.
So, the other things that we want to look at would be, the conversions is huge. So there's a lot of ways to set this up using your website, using Google Analytics, but you want to track where your referrals are coming from. So if you're posting an ad on Facebook, and they're coming to your website and then they're turning into a client, how do we know that? That's an metric that I would love to look at as your your referral source for conversions. So, that way you can tell, is LinkedIn a better resource for me than Google AdWords or whatever it might be? And then you can go even deeper into figuring out what that cost you for those conversions. So setting those things up though is a challenge. I like to use Google Analytics. I like to have designated landing pages for specific services. So say it's spring right now, we're getting into March here. If you're going to be promoting mulch services, like there should be a designated like spring bed cleanup and mulch page that clients can go to. They're not going to bounce off of it. And by bounce, it means they look at the page and then they go to a different page or they leave completely. They're going to stay on that page until they fill out the form. So if that's the case, some people call these pillar pages. But if that's the case, it's got to give them all the information that they need right there so that they can make that decision. Yes, I want to fill out this form, or I want to call the number on the screen.
No, I like that. And assume, there's a good way of tracking all the traffic on that landing page. I think sometimes people get onto websites and then suddenly they get lost, overwhelmed by all these pages, and you're not really getting that proper traction. So I do like your idea.
Yeah. And then just noting too on that, Robert, is having like a clear, like call to action on those landing pages. So what is it that you want them to do? Is it that you want them to fill out the form? Is that you want them to call? Is it that you want them to visit a different page or watch a video? Like, I think for most of us in the green industry, it's probably fill out the form to request a quote. But to muddle the waters there with lots of different CTAs makes it a little confusing for the user, and also is going to increase that bounce rate of getting people to veer off that page and get distracted and go do something else.
No, that's a good point. And assume whatever resource you're using to set that up should be asking those types of questions to make sure you have that call to action.
Yeah. So if you don't have access, if you're listening, if you don't have access to edit your website, or you're not happy with the way it looks and you want a really quick fix, there is a resource out there called Lead Pages, LEAD Pages, and they will help you create a lead page, which is, basically a landing page for a specific service that's kind of branded in your colors or something like that, and has a nice looking flow to it. And they specialize in creating these landing pages that are designed to convert visitors.
No, cool. I like that. That's a good suggestion. I'm going to dive into the social media a little bit more.
Okay.
There's so much noise out there. I almost feel as though probably overwhelmed by all the noise around social media, around negative news, things like that. What are some of the tools or some of the ways that you can actually either automate it? Because I can think of 6, 7 platforms right off the top of my head. The Facebooks, the LinkedIn's, the Instagram, the TikTok, but I mean, is there a way in which you can either automate it or simplify things a little bit?
Yeah, so I was actually talking with one of my business coaches yesterday, and we're trying to prepare a presentation together. And we were talking about what is the where have we come from in social media, and what is the future of social media? And one of the future things that we've noticed is there are actually brands out there that are AI to create social media posts, as well as like meta descriptions for your blogs or your website pages. So there are, and I can't remember a name of one in particular, but I'm sure if you just search like social media AI, you'll find some great tools out there. But that, is going to be a way that it's going to come up. You type in your keywords or the things that you want to promote, and it's going to spit out like a snippet for you to use on your social media. So that is one thing that is up and coming, futuristically looking. But it's some other tools too. Like if you still are, very, doing it in-house, or you're coming up with your own verbiage, there are different tools out there to get things posted. A very, very popular tool is Hootsuite, HOOTSUITE. And that is a resource that allows you to take one of your posts and post it into different areas. So if you are utilizing a lot of different social media platforms, you can say, I want to post this one on leaf cleanups. It's the same content, but I want to post it on LinkedIn on Tuesday, on Facebook on Wednesday, on Instagram on Thursday, and change the images. And it makes it really easy to kind of do that. Personally, I am kind of old fashioned. I do this for a living, but I like to keep it kind of old school, which is weird for me, I have to admit. But I like to use Facebook Creator Studio. And so the cool thing about Creator Studio is that since Facebook and Instagram are under the same umbrella for the Meta, then you can post on each very easily. And it gives you a nice looking calendar that shows you what's scheduled out, what's already happened. It's kind of color coordinated and things like that, so that you can see visually what you have scheduled out. And then of course, since it's on Facebook or Instagram's own platform, it gives you the tools that you need to make sure that you have the right character counts, that you have used appropriate hashtags, that your sizing of your photos is correct, and videos and things like that. So Creator Studio is a great tool that I use. There's tools out there if you're thinking of like doing like some graphic design work. So say that you have a photo, a headshot, for example, and you want to do a featured employee of this new hire that you have, and she's standing in front of a porta potty and it's just ugly, right? But you can use a software called Canva, CANVA, and that will allow you to take the background out completely. So you can take the background out, you have just the, silhouette or the person standing there without the porta potty, and you can make the background, the color of your logo, for example. And then you can put welcome to the team, Carly, or something on and text on it. So Canva is a really great tool to help you create graphics, and they do videos, they do GIFs or GIFs, however you say it, all sorts of things. I'm rambling here, but I got one more for you.
Go for it. Go for it. Good.
Facebook also offers the ability to automate your responses to frequently asked questions. And what I mean by that is when you go and you visit a company's page, let's say a big one, Coca-Cola, at the bottom, it'll show like 4 or 5 frequently asked questions. So for a green industry company, the ones that they give you out of the box don't really apply. For example, where are you located? What are your hours? Like, we're not selling donuts here. They're not typically coming to us. We're going to them. So change those questions up and utilize things that the top 5 frequently asked questions that your clients are calling and asking you about. What services do you offer? Where does pricing start? Or how do I get a quote? Or do you install swimming pools? Like, whatever your FAQs are, just throw those in there and they automatically pop up on your Facebook page when somebody comes to visit. they can click it and it's a response that's instant to them, and it saves you a call into the office. So that's another way, if we're talking automations, that's built into the Facebook platform.
That's cool. That's some great tools out there, because yeah, I mean, it can be, 100% overwhelming.
Oh yeah.
Now, I mean, if they're using an outsourced resource for, doing all these different posts, different platforms, maybe the outsourced person is using a tool like Canva, or using, Hootsuite or something. Is it the outsourced resource that's providing all the content, or where does the content typically come from?
Yeah, so I work with a lot of clients who utilize me to manage their social media profiles. And one of the largest problems that we run into is that exact question, like, how do I get the content? I'm happy to post for you, but if you're not getting me anything, I can't post anything. So a couple ways to get around this is either scheduling up front, like this. I think one of my clients who does this really well is they schedule monthly a photographer to come out and take photos for them. And so that photographer knows that I work with them. And when the pictures are done, he emails out a link and I have access to all of them. You can do that quarterly, you can do that monthly, you can do that at the beginning of a contract with a new freelancer, but that's a really great way to do it, to get professional images that you can use year after year. I mean, there's some of these things just don't go bad. Like mulch is mulch, at the end of the day. Obviously, if you're doing like before and afters of projects, you want to keep those portfolios updated more regularly. But that's the biggest challenge we run into, is where to get those photos. But the cool thing about social media and what people really like about it is that it's honest, it's real, it's day to day, it's current. So you don't have to have professional images on there all the time. Instagram is a great place for that, to have those professional images. But like Facebook, people expect to see imperfection. And if we're talking about trucks and washing trucks, like just get out there and take a picture of it. People want to see what's going on in the inner workings of your landscaping business. And so don't be afraid to just take your iPhone or Android and go out there and snap a few photos, snap a few videos. Some of the tools that we use with my clients is we love WhatsApp. So WhatsApp allows Androids and iPhone users both to send pictures without them turning like microscopic. Okay. And so it also allows you to kind of search through the thread. So if you create a thread with, all of the field supervisors and crew leaders who have phones, and then encourage them on a weekly basis, maybe offer contest or whatever, or just ingrain that into your culture that we take photos every week or every day, and we send them to this WhatsApp group or Slack channel or whatever it might be, and include your marketing person on there, then they're always going to have this consistent flow of day-to-day operations that, they are able to pick and choose. Sometimes some of my clients, they do this every day and they have 100 crews out there, and I'm like bombarded, and I'm like, I don't need all these pictures, but I'd rather have more.
Yeah, that's true.
Not
you
enough.
Can pick and choose. Yeah,
you can pick and choose. Exactly.
That's great. No, I love that. It's something that I hear more and more, just about, providing that content and where does it come from, what are the sources. But I think trying to create that internal thread amongst your twos can, benefit not only social media, but it can also, you can give direct feedback to your clients about issues on a property, or maybe you've done a nice job on a property. So there's multiple different purposes of it. Talk to me about, you mentioned photographs, but I'm seeing more and more of a trend toward videos, just short snippet videos. And, I see things like TikTok picking up more traction. And to talk to me a little bit the use of videos and where you see that going.
Yeah. I mean, if you think about it, the traditional advertisements that we've been served as we grew up in the world were not from social media, but they were from television, they're from radio, and those things essentially are video. It's not very often that you just look at like a photo of something and decide to buy it, unless you had like the Macy's magazine or something. So the ability to be able to share your story and to show, like, especially those before and after projects, like, here's what it looked like before, here's when our team went out there and dug it all up, and here's what it looks like now. Those are the sort of stories that have to be visualized in video. And so, yes, Facebook, Instagram are going to, they have openly said that they promote video higher than they do a standalone photo. TikTok, Snapchat, those things are made for video, like especially TikTok, which you mentioned. That literally is a video platform, YouTube videos. So totally agree that video is the way to be mainstream these days and to share your story. There's a lot of tools out there to help you also to create if you want to do it in-house. So there's a source out there called Animoto. It's ANIMOTO. And essentially you can take a combination of photos and videos and merge them into one sort of movie, if you will. There's Canva, again, helps you with video. You can make videos in there. There's a lot of different tools out there that'll help you, even if you're just doing this in-house and you have iPhone photos and videos, that'll help you create something that displays as a video on these platforms.
Cool, that's awesome. Yeah, you've given us some really good tools and resources today. Thank you for that. If people want to get hold of you, just to explore, some options regarding outsourcing, if they want to just pick your brain about trends coming down the pipeline, what's the best way for them to contact you?
Yeah, so you can go to my website. It's keldodigital.com, KELDO digital.com. Fill out the contact form and I'll get in touch with you. We can schedule a call. If you want to text me, you can do that. All the information's on my website. Or if you're not ready to chat yet, follow me on social media. I use LinkedIn regularly, as well as Instagram, not so much Facebook. It's not my demographic.
Right. That's funny. Kelly, thank you for your time today. Really appreciate it. I'm glad you're sharing, glad you're out there in the green industry supporting that, and keep on the good work, and really nice talking to you today.
Thanks, Robert. We'll talk to you soon.
Okay, thank you. Bye-bye. Hopefully that was pure dead brilliant for you today, and you got some great takeaways for your business or for your personal life. This is Robert Clinkenbeard along with David Edmondson. I would love to get you and your friends to join us on your journey. If you have any ideas for future speakers, or if you just want to pass this on to friends, family, other business colleagues to sign up and subscribe, that would be awesome. Anyway, thanks everyone, and have a great 2022. Cheers.